times 10.
Board Games on 95BFM, our weekly chat with the good people of the Waitamata local board.
Over the past few weeks, I've spoken to the members of the Waitamata local board about the mahi they do in the community. Today, on the final episode of Board Games, I spoke to newly appointed board member Glenda about her experiences in local politics and her vision for Waitamata. Kia ora, Glenda, how are you?
Excellent, thank you.
So firstly, how long have you been involved in local politics?
Well, I've been an elected local body member for 18 years, so it's quite a while. However, I did actually stand in the 1970s for the old Auckland City Council with the likes of Helen Clark, David Longy, but we both lost when we stood. So, it's always good to have a first shot, even if you're successful later in life.
So you were also previously on the council, and there you were appointed as Commissioner for the Resource Management Act. So what exactly does that involve?
So I was the chair of the Planning and Regulatory Committee for 3 years during the Hubbard term, which was 2004 to 7. So that job really is to appoint people to RMA hearings and also plan changes. And I was an RMA Commissioner since about 1998, so I've been one for a while. And so you either sat on or chaired plan changes and resource consent. So plan changes are essentially the policy of the council and how the council, on the advice of the planners of course, want the city to grow. And then the resource consents are the individual applications for people that are wanting to do buildings, be it a house or a 20-storey building in a great big complex. And so that was what we did during that term. However, after 2007, there was a trend to bring in more independent commissioners rather than have councillors doing it, which had been what had happened for the 50 years prior to that. So the system changed about 2007, and now there's very few councillors in Auckland ever sit on resource consents, although it's done more often around the country.
In all of your governance experience, what has been your proudest achievement?
So as the chair of the Planning and Regulatory Committee, I guess it was the heritage protection. So there were still a lot of buildings in Auckland that had been pulled down, but there were still significant ones that had no protection at all, especially in the city centre area, but also in some of the suburban areas and the town centres. So I chaired what we called heritage overlays of a lot of the little town centres like Mount Eden, Kingsland, Balmoral and Ellerslie, I think. So they therefore kept the heritage form, those beautiful buildings. Development could still be done, but they had to be done respecting the form of the building in the town centre. So, but I also, I think, chaired a plantation to protect the maunga from unsuitable development around it. And although the maunga now come under the Tupuna Maunga Authority, which I was on for 6 years, those early plan changes really stopped unsuitable development that could have happened if we hadn't put that plan change in. So it was protecting heritage, both our visual landscape heritage and our built heritage.
From our segment so far, it's become clear that there's still a lot of work to do in Waitamata. So what are you hoping to bring to the table as the newest member of the board?
Well, as I said in my speech, I come during a worldwide health epidemic as well as a global warming issues, and that therein lies one of the problems. So a lot of the really improvements that had been supposed to happen within Waitamata have really not gone ahead because of the lack of money. When COVID came in, a lot of the council income also decreased because people weren't going into zoos and other areas where council makes money. So there was a real big clampdown on a lot of the really good ideas and developments that were in process at the time. So in many ways, there's not a lot of money around. And so really my role in the next year, which is how long my term runs, will be trying to do all the wonderful things my Waitamata colleagues had wanted to do 3 years previously and haven't been able to do. Just at the meeting where I was, my first meeting a couple of days ago, the transport spokesperson, Graham Graham Gunthorpe said no new transport projects have been able to be advanced this term. So, all the ones that have been advanced were done the term before. So I guess local politics is a long game, but COVID has made it a longer game.
Finally, how would you encourage young people to get involved in local politics?
The big thing really is for them to get involved in their local communities, because it's the local communities where they are able to see what may need to be done. And the only way to do a lot of those things is actually to be aware of who your local board members are, and be able to contact them. So as a local board member, we often go along to community meetings and community committees that are set up. Local groups can come to the local board and present their ideas. So really, starting at the grassroots is really important, because it's once you start at the grassroots, you realise what needs to be done, what has been overlooked perhaps, what new things need to be done. So where I live in the inner city area, I live opposite Victoria Park. We've been here for 8 years now, and since then has grown up a skateboard park, basketball facilities, and those have all happened about 6 or 7 years ago. And that's because people came. There was a lot more people living in the inner city. They wanted more to do. It wasn't just walking in Victoria Park or playing football. They wanted their own area, and that's what they're able to get. So, it's all about seeing a space, finding a group that has some great ideas, and lobbying to get it done.
That's a great vision. Anyway, thank you for your time today, Glenda.
No problem.